Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Today, I have a very special guest in the studio with me today, and that is Isaac Hou, who's a busking juggler, but a famous one here in Taipei. He started off in Ximending, a very crowded, young people, attractive place, and he was there, juggling and doing his incredible performance for 4 years before he moved to a more upscale area, the Hsinchu district. Oh, I'm sorry, the Xinyi district. That's right. Well, anyway, let's welcome Isaac. Hi, Isaac.
Hello.
Hello. So, when was the first time you came to Taiwan? You said about 8 years ago, right?
The first time I came to Taiwan when I was 2, actually.
Oh, okay.
And again when I was 7.
Yeah.
But then the first time I came by myself was about 12 years ago. I was 19.
All right. That's very young to be on your own and everything. But what was your childhood like? You are a very active person, into acrobatic acts and, a very daring kind of boy when you grew up? Because that's my impression of someone with what you're doing now.
No, I think I was active when I was growing up, but I wasn't particularly, when I was a small child, I wasn't particularly daring. I think I was afraid of a lot of things.
Really?
And then I think because I was afraid of a lot of things, at some point when I was just becoming a teenager, I decided I would try to do a lot of things which I was afraid of.
Yeah?
Physically, at least.
Yeah. Wow. Did your parents help you overcome these kind of problems, or it was like pretty much on your own, like that you've got to grow up and, overcome all your fears?
My parents were busy doing their thing. They were providing us, me and my brother, a place to live and sending us to school. They did a pretty good job, I think.
Yeah. So your brother didn't kind of go along the same route as you in this street performance, and actually not street performance, it's world performance because you're traveling around the world.
No, my brother's an engineer.
Okay, so very different from what you're pursuing. Yeah. Now, you know what? You really stand out because, first of all, you're tall. You're apparently 183 centimeters tall. But on top of that, you're very fit. And you've got your shaved, this is like your signature, the shaved head.
I guess
Was
so.
that all part of the image that you want to project to people?
I think, I think it is. I shave my head mostly when I have to go work. If I'm not working, sometimes my hair can grow out. Sometimes I do.
Oh, really?
Do different things with it. But
okay.
It's it looks very clean. I think it looks good for the stage.
Because you know what? This thing about your shaved head and just the image you project, once people see you once, they can't forget you. And you probably don't know what impression you're making on people, on the public. They might not know your name, but they know that, they've seen you somewhere.
Yeah, I think I'm very easy to recognize.
Yeah, so you start off in Ximending, and how did you decide you were going to
I like Ximending a lot.
Yeah.
The reason I stopped going to Ximending was because they repaved the floor there, and the floor became...
Makes it a little harder for you to perform.
It became not so suitable for what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of bounced around a little bit, and I thought the floor and the people were good over there in the Xinyi district.
Oh, good. I mean, good choice.
I like that space now.
Yeah.
I still like the rawness of Ximending though. There's something. There's more. This may sound kind of strange, but there's kind of a lot of crazy people in Ximending. And you don't know what's going to happen exactly. Sometimes all sorts of crazy things might happen there.
Yeah.
It's more of an adventure.
Yeah. What generally are the audience impression, their reaction? What has been the most unforgettable reaction from some audience you've had before?
It's mostly when people come to me after the show, and one thing I remember very much was sometimes people are asking me when I'm going to be there next, and I can't really tell them concretely, because I can tell them if I definitely won't be there because next week I'm going to be in Mongolia or something like that. But if I'm going to be in Taipei next week, I don't know what the weather's going to be like that day.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that space is going to be like that day, because oftentimes they have events there in that space. And it's difficult to find out what's happening there before it's actually, you go there, you see they're setting up a big stage and don't know what's going to happen. So this one man, he's always asking me because he wanted to bring his father up from Kaohsiung. And I said, well, I don't know, you're just going to have to try and see. And he came 2 weeks later and said, oh, I brought my dad up last time and we were looking for you and you weren't here. And I apologized to him, and it kind of went like that for quite a while. And then one day, he brought his father there. And this man was probably in his 30s, his father was in his 50s.
Uh-huh.
And they were watching the show, squatting on the ground like kids.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really, there's something special there. Like his father had kind of the same. It was very, very interesting for him. It was the same kind of wonder that kids have. I think it's kind of special.
Yeah, I mean, just the sound of it, it seems like they know how to appreciate what you're doing. They know how to appreciate this form of art. That probably your performance pulled their relationship close together. Or maybe they originally had a pretty good relationship and then you pulled it closer. Yeah,
I think he really, the son really knew what kind of thing his father would really enjoy.
Wow.
And I thought it was really nice. It was very enjoyable for me as well.
That's very rare to have that kind of, father-son relationship, that you know what your father would appreciate. That really is rare.
I don't know if I would be able to.
With your father?
I don't know where I would take my dad. I would take my dad to some place that I like. And he would probably do the same thing to me, but we like very different things.
What are kind of places that you like? Oh, kind of getting off the subject here, but that's okay.
I don't know. I like capoeira. I like to see. I don't know.
Interacting with people.
Yeah.
In something that you're happy doing with together.
I can see a few things that my father and I would like.
Yeah.
Maybe. Kind of. I remember when I was a kid, I would like to go to they have those science museums for kids.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff you can touch.
Right.
We have, I've got a nephew, my dad's grandson, and I think he's not old enough yet to go to that kind of place, but maybe in a couple of years.
Right. Oh, wow. So did you ever get to do that with your dad? One of those kind of science museums? Yeah?
I think he took us there when we were a kid. There's a place in New Jersey called Liberty Science Center. Mm. They have a very big, expanding, I think it's like a buckyball.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
It's like a geodesic dome that has the ability to expand and contract. They have toys based on that now, I saw.
Oh, okay. All right. So, why juggling? Yeah, how did it all start? Was it something you watched on TV and you said, that's what I want to do?
No, I like to do physical things when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. The idea of being a performer was unacceptable. Like when I was growing up, I remember I had friends that were dancers, or I had friends that were doing theater. Yeah. It all seemed kind of a little bit ridiculous to me when I was growing up.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not really sure at what point it became a viable career kind of idea.
What was the very first thing you tried? Actually, you were working as an assistant to a juggler or something like that. Is that how it started? Was that how it started?
Yeah, that was how it started. It wasn't really my original idea. Wasn't that I was going to really make a spanning a few years career out of performing. I thought it would be a kind of traveling job. Like it would be better than picking fruit or being a bartender, I thought. Uh-huh. And I was in England, and I was cleaning a hotel. That was my job.
Right. I remember that part.
I was cleaning a hotel in England, and a friend of mine, she was an Israeli girl. She was doing fire shows. So I would help her carry her equipment. I would put the fuel in the cups for her to dip her stuff or something like that. And I could go and I could go out and have fun in the nightlife, because you don't make much money cleaning a hotel.
Right.
in England.
And besides, I mean, doing this was actually a lot more fun than cleaning hotel rooms.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to do anything then. At that time, I was 18, so I didn't. I could go out to the club and we could have some fun. I was her assistant, and I learned a little bit. And that's the first time I kind of got this idea that I could do that. But it didn't work out for quite a while afterwards.
Okay. So actually, you love traveling too. You've been around the world, but that was mainly for fun, not trying to find the right place to settle down and do your street performance? Or that was really just your other dream, which is traveling, just traveling?
That was when I was young. Because I grew up in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what else was in the world. My parents told me, like, I'd been to Taiwan when I was a kid, but I didn't have the language, so my time in Taiwan, my understanding of things was very, very limited.
Okay.
And my understanding of the world outside the U.S., even outside of New Jersey, was very limited. So I wanted to go and see. At the time, I was kind of being groomed to be an engineer.
Oh.
Basically, I was going to go to high school, go to university, and that. I think I would have enjoyed being an engineer. A lot of engineers seem to complain now that their jobs are very boring, but I was very curious. I thought there's something else besides going to school and being an engineer. I thought I want to go and see. Like, I'd read a lot of books, people that were doing other things. Like, there was other ways of like living your life, and there's people that value different things, and I wanted to see these people, and I wanted to experience those things.
Okay. This engineering part, was that like your parents' dream for you and your brother?
It wasn't such a great dream. I think it's just something that's...
They thought more practical?
Yeah, it was very practical. And I don't know, I think the way our minds work, we have kind of engineering kind of minds.
Yeah. You know, I think most people's stereotype about street performers is that, oh, it must be that, you guys don't really know what to do with your life, and this is something on the side, or
yeah, that's pretty
this
true,
is not
actually.
Making a lot of money. Yeah, but you overcame all that. In fact, you did more.
A lot of those things are, they can be true. A lot of people don't really know what they're doing. Not that many people, I think, really, when they're kids, they want to be street performers, but a lot of people come into contact with it one way or another, and they find they really enjoy it. Some people enjoy working on the stage, some people enjoy working on the street, some people
enjoy sitting at the desk and just work 8 hours a day, or 12.
Yeah.
You have a lot to teach the Taiwanese kids and Taiwanese parents. Is that...
I don't think I have it.
No, in the sense that, parents, or rather anybody, should encourage kids to have their own dreams, pursue their own interests. Don't tell them that this is not going to work, this is not going to make money. You should be an engineer, or you should be a lawyer, you should be a doctor, because those things make money. I mean, there are kids who do that, but they weren't happy in the process.
Yeah. I think it's important to have balance.
Balance. That is so important to what you're doing, your art form.
Yeah, it's also important in your everyday life. I think it's important to have a kind of balance. I think even with myself, I think very often I lose track of what I'm doing. Sometimes you see your goals here, and then you break them up into little goals, and then sometimes these little goals obscure the greater goal. Yeah, I mean, the greater goal is to have a high quality of life. That's really, I think, everybody's greater goal, personally to have a better quality of life, or for your family or the people around you. And then sometimes people, they think, oh, if I had more money, I would have a better quality of life. And then they go around chasing money at the expense of their quality of life. And it's kind of, I don't know, I think everybody kind of falls into that trap at some time.
A point well said. Well, we're going to hear more about your wisdom about life and all that.
I don't think I have much.
Let's take a break here before we hear more of Isaac Hou's incredible life story.